Game Up. They make a thirst-quenching adult beverage with a special blend of electrolytes, help keep you hydrated. It comes in 4 great flavors: fruit punch, orange, lemon, lime, and grape.
It's low carb, guys. All right. It's only 110 calories. Enjoy some Game Up. UFC 310. And me and Chevy talked about this off air. This is pound for pound one of the best cards in terms of preliminary fights and early prelims.
Yeah, there's no giant name on this card. No, like John Jones or Conor McGregor or anything like that. No Islam or Volkanovski. But the entire card, matchup-wise, is stacked with, like 7 out of 10 guys.
So this is where I would ask you what fights we'd look for. There's quite a few. So rather than detail these fights, we're going to just rapidly pick some of these earlier fights, and then we're going to go through the main card like normal.
Starting off the prelims, Clay Guida, who's a plus 675 versus Chase Hooper, who's a minus 1,050, which I think is disrespectful.
Disrespectful, and I might even almost take that bet because I was going back and forth on this. Guida's got man strength. Chase Hooper's still working on that. Ooh.
He could overwhelm him.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna pick Hooper, but I mean, if I was a betting man, I would probably take those odds. I would probably bet Guida. I think he's got a decent chance to pull that off. Stylistically, I think that they both like to wrestle, and Guida's probably the bigger, stronger guy.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Hooper's speed is going to be different.
Yeah, and also Hooper's very tall. He's put on like his man muscle now at 155, and he's greatly improved on his striking in the last few fights. But still, I still would say this is pretty close to even money. So I'm with you. I don't bet. My wife would not allow me to. If you're a betting person, very good underdog, Clay Guida. But I'm with you. Sure. I think I will pick Chase Hooper. I think I'd pick him by a decision. Close.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Decision.
Another great fight. Michael Chiesa versus Max Griffin.
That is a good fight. I'm going to go Chiesa. Could see Chiesa getting lit up, though, by Max Griffin. But I'll say he'll do his usual. He's going to probably get caught a few times, and then he's going to use his wrestling, and he's going to get that rear naked choke he likes so much.
Yeah, if he can get him down, I like his chances for sure. But he's not getting any faster.
No.
And Max is explosive. Definitely much more technical and powerful on the feet. So unfortunately, I see him putting Chiesa away, probably not TKOing him in the first or second round.
My heart.
Yeah, hopefully not, but we'll see. This fight got postponed from the last pay-per-view.
Oh, yeah.
Because Eric Anders got food poisoning day of the fight. So this is Chris Weidman versus Eric Anders.
I never pick Chris Weidman anymore. I hope for the best for him. I like him, but he's been through so many battles and ups and downs. He's looked better in his last couple fights, and I know he won his last one before this, but I'll go with Eric Anders, but I'll go with Weidman. The heck with it. I'll say Weidman grinds out a decision. It's probably going to be a close fight though.
Yeah, I'm going to pick Weidman too. Eric Anders is just as up and down as Weidman is really. He's just much more active would be his big advantage, I think. But I think Weidman can get this one done for sure. I'm going to say decision. Very fun fight. Randy Brown versus Brian Battle.
Yeah, that's a good one. I like Brian Battle. I feel like he's definitely on the come up right now. I don't know if he'll finish Randy Brown because Randy Brown's so tough, but I'll say Brian Battle by decision.
Yeah, Brian has great momentum right now, but I think on his best day, Randy Brown is close to being, he's not that far off from being championship level on his best day. So I'm going to pick Randy Brown. I think he TKOs Brian Battle, actually. Mozvar Evelev versus Aljo Sterling.
Tough fight. Aljamain, he's trying to make it in this weight class here. I like Aljamain, though. I think that wrestling, and I think Aljamain actually at featherweight, I think is a good weight class for him. So we'll see how he does. I'll say Aljamain. I'll say third round submission.
Yeah, Mozvar usually very dominant on the ground, but Aljo being so strong, even though he's coming up from 135 or whatever, he's still so strong. And I think his grappling is so unorthodox, and it's such a style that Mozvar is never going to have seen because it's very unique to Sterling. I think that will be in Sterling's. And also Sterling is able to do a lot of weird striking because of his grappling as well. So I think that's to Aljo's advantage, and I'm with you. I'm going to pick Sterling. I think he gets a submission. Also, I'll say he gets gets on his back and gets a rear naked choke in round 3. Vicente Luque versus Themba Gorimbo.
Themba Gorimbo, I don't know much about. We talked about this off air. He lost his UFC debut, and he's won like 4 in a row. I was looking at the guy he lost to, AJ Fletcher. I think he's lost like 3 in a row now. And I really would almost say I wonder if that was UFC jitters. So he's putting together a good little run to UFC. Like you talked about, he's the guy that The Rock bought a house for. So he's got it right. But Vicente Luque, that's a different animal. That's a guy who's fought some of the best, and he's been in there with a lot of the best. I know he's been inactive, injuries and stuff too, but for now, I'll put my money on Vicente Luque in this fight. I don't know. I should look up to see if this guy's ever been finished before. I'll go with Vicente Luque with a 3rd round TKO.
Yeah, I'm with you. Luque is a finisher on the feet and on the ground, so I think he is getting older, but I think he's still got it for sure, too. So I'm going to say submission, probably late. I'll say round 3 submission. Rounding out the prelims, Dominic Reyes versus Anthony Smith.
Yeah, great fight of guys who've probably seen better days, but still very capable of putting on an entertaining fight. Dominic Reyes just got back in the winner's circle. I think that was probably the mental momentum he probably needed. And Anthony Smith is a tough veteran that you can never discount. I told you about this in the past. I think I've picked him in other fights where we thought he might lose. But I think if Dominic Reyes is mentally there, I think he still has something to potentially offer, maybe even one more run. He's going to have to start stringing them together, but we'll find out. This is going to be a great time to find that out. So I'll go Dominic Reyes. These guys are going to throw down. So I'll go round 2 TKO.
Yeah, I agree. I think that Reyes stylistically is a good matchup. Very athletic, he has great range, he has great power on his punches. So I just think Anthony Smith, he's older. He has 100 fights. Like he literally has over 50 fights.
Mm-hmm.
I think his time has just come at this point. So not to say he can't win, because he's also very skilled everywhere, especially if the fight does make it to the ground. He would have an advantage, but I just think that Reyes is athletically much better, and he'll use that. I think he gets a decision win over Smith because Anthony Smith's a tough guy. Let's get into this main card, which is absolutely phenomenal. This first fight starting off with fireworks for sure. Nate Landwehr versus Doo-Ho Choi, the Korean Superboy.
Nate Landwehr, Nate the Freight Train Landwehr. He's 18-5, 9 KOs, 2 subs, 7 decisions, 5-3 in the UFC. He's already had 3 performance of the night, and he's had a fight of the night. He is just excitement personified. But you can say the same thing about his opponent, the Korean Superboy. He's 15-4-1, 12 KOs, 1 sub, 2 decision, performance of the night, fight of the night 3 times. The only thing about the Korean Superboy is he's been inactive until recently. He had a space from like 2019 to 2023. He was out. Military?
Yeah, military service.
So he was out for a little bit, but he just came back. He's had 2 fights. One was a majority draw and a win. So I think it's possible the time away was good for him, and he's just working through those kinks. If I was thinking about this guy a few years ago that fighting Nate, I would probably favor him. I'd say he's a little more technical, but these two are probably just going to throw down. And because of that, I'm going to go with Nate here. I don't know who the favorite is. I would almost think the Korean Superboy would be a slight favorite here, but maybe Chevy knows the answer to that.
I'm not sure.
Yeah. But I'm going to go with Nate Landwehr. Only because I think stylistically, I don't see Nate Landwehr getting finished here. So I'll say he'll get it. Round 2 or 3 pressed. I'll go 2. No, I'm going to go 3 TKO.
Yeah, I'd be shocked if this wasn't a super fun fight. I expect both guys to meet in the middle and have wild exchanges. So Nate's best chance is his relentless pressure and hope Superboy breaks under it, or one of his wild shots, looping shots, puts him away. But I think it's more likely that Superboy catches Nate with the harder shots while countering. He keeps the range and then he plants when Nate just keeps walking forward. So I'm going to pick Superboy by TKO just because I don't think Nate's going to stop coming forward when he gets hit, and Superboy hits real hard. So I'll say round 3 because both guys have great chins. So
that's what I'm saying. Yeah. And so I think you're thinking like I'm thinking. I just think Nate will survive it and ride it out, but we'll find out. Either way, odds are this is probably could be fun tonight. So
yeah,
good chance.
Yeah, very, very good chance. Bryce Mitchell versus Kron Gracie.
Interesting that we got a grappling match in the middle of this card. I know Strowman. Yeah, good point. I hope it's a grappling match. This is going to be interesting at a striking fair. Kron Gracie, he's a grappling specialist. He's a Gracie. He's a jiu-jitsu guy. He's 5-2. All wins are 5 submission. He's got 2 losses in a row right now in the UFC. One of them I know is to Cub Swanson. I don't remember who the other one is off the top of my head, but basically, if you can keep him standing and you can keep him off your back and you keep him away from your joints, you're probably going to have the advantage. He's not an experienced striker. Bryce Mitchell, he likes to grapple, but he can strike a little bit. So I think I favor him. But he's 16-2, no KOs, 9 subs, 7 decisions, 7-2 in the UFC. But here's the thing about Bryce. Coming off his first knockout loss of his professional career, and it was a doozy. His toes curled and everything.
He was convulsing.
Yes.
He was having a seizure, yeah.
Yes, Josh Emmett, boy, it's hard. And he laid out Mitchell. So we'll see if that is an effect. I mean, for me personally, I'd say it's a good fight because Kron is not going to have any kind of punching power or anything like that. So I'm going to take Bryce Mitchell by decision because I think he's got enough to keep the fight standing. But if Gracie's going to submit somebody at an upper level, Mitchell might provide those opportunities for him since he likes to grapple.
Yeah, this one could be fun too, but also super boring. I'll be so upset if we get a terrible striking match from these guys because they're so talented on the ground. Straight grappling, you'd have to pick Kron. But in MMA grappling with punches and all that, I think Bryce can catch him with something, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
If they do keep it on the feet, I'm with you. I expect Bryce to win, probably boring decision because he's probably not going to knock Kron out, and Kron's probably going to be trying to pull guard and just sitting down and butt scooting and not engaging in any real striking.
Cub Swanson didn't knock out Kron, so I don't think Bryce will.
Yeah. Kron has less than 0 striking, and he fights once every 3 years. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to pick Bryce by decision, I guess. But in an ideal world, this could be very fun if they actually get it in there and both guys start to grapple.
Yeah, this could be a great grappling match for sure.
All right, moving on to the heavyweights. Ciryl Gane versus Alexander Volkov 2.
Yes, in a fight that you probably didn't want based on the performance of the last fight. Ciryl Gane won a very technical fight the last time. Ciryl Gane is 12-2, 6 KOs, 3 subs, 3 decisions. His only losses are to John Jones and Francis Ngannou. So, I would probably favor him. But Volkov, 38-10, 24 knockouts, 4 subs, 10 decisions. He's the former M1 Global and Bellator heavyweight champ. He's won 4 in a row now. He's 14-6 in the UFC. He's not someone you can take lightly. He certainly has the skills and a little momentum right now to win this fight. But I just don't know if I don't know if these two have changed enough since their last fight to really see anything major different happen. So I'm going to take Gane by decision. I'm hoping it's more of an exciting fight this time, but anything can happen. They're heavyweights. But I'll just say I'm going to go with Gane by decision.
Yeah. I mean, since that last time they fought, Volkov has been super active and dominant. Like you mentioned, Gane's been filming movies and playing. Yeah, filming movies and playing FIFA. So Gane's always very tough, but honestly, I think Volkov is better everywhere right now. And with the momentum, I think he gets a decision win this time.
I hope I'm wrong. I really want Volkov to actually win this.
Yeah, me too.
He's more active too, so
Yeah, and plus he has an awesome Oni back tattoo, which I love. So, all right, moving on. This could be fight of the night as well.
Good.
And very likely could be. Shavkat Rakhmonov versus Ian Machado Garry.
All right, so Rakhmonov was supposed to fight for the title here. Bilal Muhammad was obviously injured. And this is, I don't want to say it's a more interesting fight because it's obviously, I'm sure Shavkat would rather fight for the championship. But it's a very interesting fight to see 2 undefeated, high-profile names who have not, won a championship yet, soaring in the UFC, fighting each other. Ian Machado Garry is 15-0, 7 KOs, 1 sub, 7 decisions, 8-0 in the UFC, and he's had a performance of the night 1 time. Shavkat, 18-0, 8 KOs, 10 subs. Performance of the night twice, fight of the night once against Jeff O'Neal. He's coming off a submission win over Wonder Boy Thompson. So, this is great. This is great matchmaking. I really like this. I saw Chael Sonnen talked about this fight, and he said it was also interesting that they have both sparred with each other before, and neither one, he said, blinked. They were both ready to take this fight. And he said, and it's there's a lot of confidence here. I I could really sense Ian Garry playing spoiler here. He's a very good technical fighter, but Shavkat has had a little more. He's fought a little tougher competition, with that Wonder Boy win. But we're talking, this is close. So I'm going to go Shavkat. I think the pressure, although stylistically, that's probably what Garry wants too. But I'll go with Shavkat, the pressure. And I'll say this. I'll say it's his first decision. I'll say this is going to be good. Is this 5 rounds?
I think so.
Yeah. That could change things. Yeah, I don't know if either one of these will go 5 rounds. We'll see. I'll go with Shavkat, 5-round decision, either way. But this is a really interesting fight. I would not be shocked if Ian Garry plays spoiler here and surprises a lot of people. But man, I don't know. This is a real, like I said, I'm going with Shavkat just because, he's had more all his fights are finishes too, and the win over Wonder Boy. But what do you think?
Well, since you didn't say it, I'll say it. Someone's O has got to go.
Yes.
Shavkat definitely has more ways to win the fight.
Yeah.
I assume best money is that he gets him down and gets a submission at some point. Mm-hmm. But like you said, and Chael talked about, Ian has trained with Shavkat before, and he agreed to step in on short notice. So maybe there's something he thinks he can exploit. I don't think it's likely that Ian finishes Shavkat, and it's very tough ask to outpoint him for 25 minutes without getting caught with something. But I'm with you. That's what I'm picking. I think there's just a thing that there's the possibility that Ian Garry, he just has this aura, and this could catapult him to that superstar level. I'm going to pick him by decision, and this I don't think is going to be an exciting fight. I think Ian Garry's going to be doing a lot of circling off the cage and just trying not to get struck, and then throwing out a couple leg kicks or a couple jabs and just avoiding the big shots and the takedowns.
Which may be why he took the fight on short notice. Maybe he feels there's a path to victory that maybe not exciting, but could get him into the championship picture.
Right. All right, moving on to the main event, the championship bout. Alexandre Pantoja versus Kai Asakura.
Kai Asakura is 21-4, 13 KOs, 3 subs, 5 decision. He was a 2-time risen bantamweight championship, and this is his UFC debut. So that's interesting right there. I can't think of anybody who's got a title shot in their debut too often, at least in modern UFC. Yeah. So
did Glover get one as soon as he came in?
Who's that?
Did Glover get one as soon as he came in?
No, he had a few fights. Pantoja's 28-5, 8 KOs, 10 subs, 7 decisions. He's the current UFC Flyweight champion. He's on a 6-fight win streak. Fighter of the night 2 times, performance of the night 3 times. UFC's the best in MMA. I mean, I know hardcore fans sometimes like to say, well, there's other people that are really good, and they're right. And this may be a case where we're surprised, but I'm going to pick the UFC champ until otherwise. So I got Pantoja. I'll say decision, but I'm not really sure how this one's going to go down.
Yeah, Kai is the rare exception at flyweight where he is a KO artist. He gets a lot of KO finishes. He's getting the title shot immediately coming into the UFC, which you talked about is very rare. Maybe the first time. I also couldn't remember a time where that has happened. But that shows where the division is at. Yeah. And it also shows, what the UFC think of Kai. They think highly of him coming in, obviously.
Yeah.
I think he's very good, but he has losses to Manel Kape and Kyoji Hiraguchi in Ryzen, which, I rate them both high, but I don't think either one of them are beating Pantoja. So
but that's it, right? Exactly.
Yeah, we don't know much about the rest of his competition in Ryzen. We don't watch Ryzen, so
styles make fights too. Yeah. Like you said, he is a heavy hitter, so that could play a part too. But we'll see.
Yeah, I'm extremely excited to see how he does, but I'm with you. Until I see him, I have to pick the UFC guy. I'm picking Pantoja. And I'm going to go so far as to say he gets a round 2 submission on Kai. UFC jitters. I saw Brennan Schaub make this point that this is the first time he's fighting in a cage. also, because in Ryzen they fight in a ring. So I don't know how much that makes a difference, but defensively up against the cage, it will make a difference. I don't know how much, but I also don't know if Pantoja is going to back him up against the cage. But I think there's a lot of variables that we don't know the answer to. And so I'm going to pick the safe bet and pick the UFC guy. So Pantoja, round 2 sub.
If you haven't tried Game Up, then you are missing out. Imagine your favorite seltzer and your favorite sports drink had a baby, but it's way better than that. Each can is 110 calories, low carb, 4.9 ABV. It's a nice light drink that is not light on flavor. Game Up comes in fruit punch, orange, lemon, lime, and grape.